Hey everyone! Okay, I'm quite proud of this playlist and our goals for today. I'm starting my playlist now. Gonna make sure it's perfect. It is perfect. Okay, today we are going to start with a really good ankle warm-up. So we're just gonna start doing some circles, almost like you're trying to come up onto your toes and then rotate your knee around. I'm really hoping my braid does not hit the microphone a ton during this class because it's gonna get a little hot and a little sweaty. Okay, we're gonna do a weird little dance now. You're gonna be twisting to the side of the room using your lower leg, so this area. If you think of the outer bone, you want that outer bone to go back towards the wall. So don't try and do a ton of twisting through your hip. Think about the back of your ankle twisting to the side. So anywho, goals of today for Lipas and Bounds is we're gonna get a little bit bouncy, we're gonna get a bit springy. So it's a great intro to plyometrics, switch sides. But it's also really great for if you do any CrossFit or lifting weights, working on that triple extension. I'll explain what that is in a second. But basically it's where we get a lot of our power from. So, as you all know, I am 4 months postpartum at this point, so I will give a little postpartum disclaimer. As we get back into some more explosive things, we want to be mindful of our breathing. So we're doing a little bit of a lift of pelvic floor during our effort portion. So even if you have not been pregnant, you have no intention of getting pregnant, I do want you to try to be mindful of that breathing. Swap sides again. Actually, you know what? No, let's get into a deep squat here. Better things to do with our time as I give my spiel. So, okay, with this movement, you're trying to get as low as you can. Hold on to something if you need to. You're trying to push your knee over your toes while you keep your heel down. So this is trying to get our ankle mobility. Now, a lot of people will get their ankle mobility by their foot collapsing in. I would like you to try keep your foot in its normal posture while you drive your knee over your toes. Don't be horrified by me. I'm too mobile. I promise, I say this all the time, but it comes with its own set of problems. So we're going to keep rocking back and forth. As you rock back, I want you to try lift your foot. Good, so I'm pushing my knee one way and I'm lifting my toes the other. Okay, anyhow, so if we think of our squat, for example, we're inhaling on the way down and we're exhaling and doing a little bit of a lift on the way up. And that's our postpartum consideration for a lot of these. I'll try to remember as we go through it, but sometimes I forget. Okay, come on up there. We're gonna start in a downward dog position. Well, plank position, pushing up to downward dog. Just hover this way a few times, make sure shoulders feel okay and wrists feel okay. And what we're gonna be doing is you're gonna be driving your knee in between your hands and then kicking up. You'll notice when I kick up, I'm trying to get my heel that's planted, I'm trying to get it to stay down. So it's a way of pushing back into my ankle mobility. I'm using the momentum of my body to kind of shoot me that way. Good. Keep rocking. So yeah, we're gonna be a little bit of jumping. Probably gonna be a lot of heavy breathing on my end. I tried to move the microphone away from my mouth, but turn up your playlist if it offends you. Good, swap sides. Knee in between your hands, hover, and push. Try drive that ankle back and down. Good. Go into downward dog for a second and just do a real, let's jog the dog. So you're trying to get that heel down, stretch out your legs. Good. Okay, now when we're doing this hover, I want you kicking straight up. Whew, almost lost my balance there. Making sure that we're not extending through our low back at all, so focus on that sternum coming down towards the mat. Good. Swap sides. I'm going to regret this braid, I know it. Ultimate goal is how high can you get that back leg? But don't worry if it's not very high. Good. Okay. Hover back down. We're going to go into a plank position, and we're going to do some mountain climbers here. So opposite knee to opposite elbow. Really push with your toes. Good. Push up into downward dog. Jog that dog. And back into mountain climbers. So my hips are staying as stable as possible, parallel to the mat. My bum is tucked under me. So this should be mostly core, shoulders, and the ultimate goal is I want you to think about pushing off those toes. Great. Okay. Step up, so you're in this kind of deep squat position. I'll turn the other way so you can see me. Okay, from this position, I want you to do a quick little rotation warm-up. Hopefully everyone's back's feeling okay for this. Same principles are going to apply when we're focusing on kind of that explosive hip extension I'm talking about. It's very easy for hip extension to turn into back extension. So I want you all to be really mindful of that, okay? We're gonna come on up into a squat. So if this is a struggle or people are feeling tension in their back already or pain in their knees, go to a wall sit, because the whole point of this is just to load up our quads a bit. Arms are gonna come up overhead, and we're gonna hold. Good. Arms are going to come down back behind us as we come forward into a lunge. All the weight should be on my front leg. I'm going to try to get a little bit lower, so I'm bending that back knee a little bit more. All the weight's in my front leg like I'm about to take off sprinting. If this feels okay, for most people, I want you to kind of stay here. You can do a bit of a pulse, or you can come slowly up into this position. I'll do that again so you can see. So you can hold onto a wall, you can go into a door frame, because this will be tough for balance, but that's not the priority of what I want to do here. If you feel like this is all totally fine, then you're going to be coming down into the lunge and jumping up, whew, don't mind my balance, and come back down and land. I was just rusty on the first one. Good. Other side. So we're going to start in that squat. Arms are coming up overhead. Try to cover your ears. Relax that low back. All the tension should be in your legs in this position. If it's not, you are in a door frame. Hands are on the wall. Get a little lower and hold. Arms are going to come back behind us. We're going to get low in that lunge. For most people, this is where you're going to be pulsing, or you're coming up into this position from your lunge. Or if you're feeling pretty good, three more. Good. Shake that out, back into our squat. Try to challenge yourself, get a little bit lower. Arms are still up. Blocking our knees. Arms are going to come back behind us as one leg steps back. Hinge over that foot a little bit more. Bend that back knee. Think about what you're doing. Are you doing a lunge step up? Are you doing a lunge pulse? Are you doing a lunge hold? Pick what's appropriate for you, and what's appropriate for you should be you feel everything through this leg. Again, if you're saying, well, it's my balance that's throwing me off, get into a door frame because that's not the point of this. Okay, here we go. We're going to go for 8. Tap down. Good. Back in the squat. Check in with yourself, see if you can get a little bit lower. Good, arms behind you. Lower that back leg. Pick where you're at. And we're going for 8. Whew. Shake it out. Great job, everyone. Pick the fluff off of you if you have some. All right, and we're going to go into the basics of a skater squat, kind of like a curtsy lunge position. So you can start with your curtsy lunge. Step back behind you in a 45-degree angle. Get down as low as you can. Again, back is completely relaxed. I'll go from the side so you can see me. Just like this. And you're going to remember what this feels like for when we do our speed skaters. So I want you to challenge yourself, go slow, with control. All the weight should be in the front leg. Same as our regular lunges. Low back is nice and relaxed. Try to get as low as you can. Good. Shake it out. That same idea of where the knee is going kind of back at a 45-degree angle behind you is roughly what we're doing for our speed skaters. So when I hop on this leg, I'm trying to resist momentum from knocking me over, and I'm lowering myself down. This leg isn't necessarily touching back. It can if you need it to, but you're kind of hovering here and then generating momentum with this front leg as you push off to the other side. So we're going to do this push off and catch. You're almost going into like a slow hip hinge descent motion. So you should feel this all through the front leg hip again and the leg. If this is, again, a struggle, all I care about, you can put your hands on the back of a chair, hands on the wall, hands in a door frame. But what I care about is the quality of the movement, that you're controlling the force of pushing yourself this way, almost like you're catching yourself with the momentum that you generate. And you're thinking about, could I tap this knee down? I mean, you could do it if you feel like you're able, but it's quite difficult to do side to side. Okay, let's just go for 10 seconds without me talking. Good. Shake that out. Take a sip of water if you need it, AKA I need it. Then you're going to pick an end of your mat, and the next thing we're going to go through is a jump squat. So postpartum considerations, inhale on the way down, exhale, lift pelvic floor, and it's almost like you're blowing out a candle as you come up. So inhale, and then you're catching yourself right back in that kind of riding a motorcycle position. Make sure that you're not bracing with your back. So if you need to do a little one, I care way more about that you feel, okay, my hips are opening, my knees are straightening, and they're both doing that equally. And then you can play with your deep range. Good, 5 seconds here. Perfect. Shake that out for a second. So what a lot of people run into with wall balls, box jumps, or jump squats is as they're coming down and up, watch what my neck is doing. And so people with neck pain, headaches, I want you to kind of pick a spot and your neck's gonna change accordingly, but your eyesight's fixed on it. And it's kind of gonna be like halfway down in front of you. So play with what range you feel like you can control. Keep looking at that spot. If you notice you're coming up with your eyes, your bum should be down more. If anyone feels like they're struggling with this and low back's an issue, I'd like you to pause it, go get a chair, and just jump off the chair, and then slowly lower yourself back down. You will still get a good workout. Good. Shake that out. And we're going to start from the beginning. So we're going to go down into our squat. Arms up overhead. Pick the depth that you feel like you can control the best. Arms come back behind you. Lower down into that lunge, whatever you feel like you can control. For me, with my pubic bone, I'm not going to do the jump all the way up, but I encourage you to if that feels fine. So I'm going to be doing a slow and controlled drive. Last one. Good. Back immediately into that squat. Arms are going to come back behind us. Bend that back knee, all the weight's on our front leg. Tap down, come up, whatever feels appropriate for you. Two more. Good, back into that squat. Hold here, try slow your breathing. Make sure that all the tension's in your legs. You shouldn't feel anything through your back right now. If you need to take a minute and brace your hands on your knees and then drop your tailbone and kind of give yourself a self-traction, you're more than welcome to do that. But try hold your squat. Arms come back behind you. Drop that back knee as low as you can. And then push up. Woo. See, I didn't follow my own advice about looking at one spot. So I do think it's kind of important to notice, or to note that I know I've talked about my pubic bone a few times. The fact I can do speed skaters now, and I can even be in a lunge position, let alone from as deep of a range as this, is huge improvement. So sometimes an injury doesn't feel better, but we're doing more, and objectively, if someone comes into the clinic, you are improving because you're doing more. Good, back down. Sorry if you're doing the jump version. Back down into squat. And lower yourself. Make sure you've got that good foot tripod connection. Legs going back behind you, arms are behind you. Bend that back knee and come up in either a jump or your little lunge runner's step up. I think we have to go for like 15 now because of how much I was talking in the last one. Two more. Good. Shake it out. We're going to go into our curtsy lunge. Pay attention now that breathing's getting taxed. Your ribs are staying over top of your pelvis. What should be working the absolute hardest right now is your legs. You could be half draped over a countertop with your upper body or over a chair, and you would get the same workout without any kind of physical taxing of an injury you might have through your low back. For general low back stuff. Good. Be mindful when you get into this deep bend here that we're fully straightening at the hip as we come up. Good. Two more. Then we're going to go into our speed skater. So I want you guys, now that you're familiar with the movement, really challenge yourself. So you're going to launch off that one side and try and slow the movement right away. So soften the landing. Pretend you're trying to land as quiet as humanly possible. And how you're lowering is your bum is going to the, in my case, the back wall. Good. 5 more. Good. Shake that out. Sip of water if you need to. I need to see where I'm at in my playlist. Perfect. Okay, back into our favorite squat. From here, what I want you to do is push forward this time. As our back leg lifts, hold on to the wall if you need to. This is not a balance class. From this position, you're lowering yourself down and hinging. Check in with yourself that your back doesn't feel like it's bracing to hold you, that we're lengthened from the top of our neck down to our tailbone. You can put your arms forward if that helps you. And then from here, you should feel a lot of tension right in your bum bone. I want you to kind of grab your hip, both hips actually, and think about tucking your bum underneath you to come back up. And that pulling under should make sense. Back into your squat. And this time we're putting our arms back. Our leg is going back behind us, but our chest is coming way forward. And then we're hinging back up. Don't worry about going back into the squat, just reach forward as far as you feel like you can control it, and that your spine is lengthened from the top of your neck down to your tailbone, and then you're hinging to come back up. This should feel like very hard work in the foot as well. Swap sides, start in your squat, and arms and leg go back behind you. Chest is coming down when that happens. Arms can come ahead again. Think about that lengthening position. All the tension should be in hamstring and bum. If it's not, you're just doing a little tiny hinge like this, or you can tap this back leg down if you haven't listened to me thus far and you're not touching a wall. Hands on hips. Think about tucking your bum underneath you. This upward motion of me coming back upright is generated by my leg. One more. All the way up. Good. Okay, in that same position, so ultimately we're getting into that airplane, but what I want you to do is try to get down as low as you can to tap your knee behind you. Ooh, it's okay if it doesn't get very far. And then we're stretching out back into this position. Even if you need to go arms out to the sides, so you're like an airplane, and check in with yourself that your hips are parallel to the mat, no tension in the low back. Take a big inhale and try send air back here if you're not sure. And then hip hinge, come back up. Try that again. Knee is going to come down as low as we can. And then we're hinging forward and reaching. And hinging to come back up. Good. Chest coming down, knees coming all the way down. Whoa, I did it. All right. And reaching. And hinging to come back up. You'll feel that in the lower leg. And let's swap sides. So you're going to get down as low as you can into this bent lunge position. Reach out in front of you. Check in with yourself. Hip bones should be level. All the tension should be in the top of the hip and the leg. Hands on your hips. Hinge back up. Beautiful. Again, we're bending down. However you need to get there. Don't worry about going all the way down if you can't do it. And arms come forward, back into that airplane, and hip hinge back up. And tap down. Ooh, man, I thought my balance would be better for you guys here. And reach forward. And hip hinge, reverse hip hinge to come back up. Beautiful. Okay. And we're going to be in a straddle position. You're going to lunge out to the side as far as you can, and you're going to get down as low as you can. Try not to lose all tension through your legs and your hips. So you're only going down as far as you feel like you can control it. So I don't want you just collapsing here if you can avoid it. And we're just going to go back and forth. Good. I'm just going to give myself a better position for you guys here. As you lunge over to this side, you're going to grab, so same leg, same arm, and then you're reaching with the other arm up to the ceiling. And then you're standing up, and then back down. Same leg, same arm, reaching up with the other one, and then coming all the way up. Bending as low as you can, and thinking about twisting through your spine as you reach up to the ceiling. Good. Stop in the middle. Pure hip hinge. So you're sending that bum back behind you. And then tuck your bum underneath you and come back up. Check in with yourself. Put your hands on your low back. Send air there on your inhale. Exhale, lift pelvic floor. Hip hinge forward. If this feels okay, you're going to be jumping from this position. You can bring your legs in more if you need to. Hip hinge back, slight bend in the knees. So it's like a sumo jump squat. Good. Hold back into that straddle position. And we're going to hover our weight over. Reach down with our hand. Twist up to the ceiling as you sink further into that leg. And swap sides. Good. A few more. Good. Back in the middle. Hip hinge forward. As far as you can, drop your hands into the middle. You're going to kind of move your bum bones side to side. You can have your knees in a relaxed position if you need to. And just think about creating some space from the top of the hip to the very bottoms of your rib cage. Walk your hands over to one side
And you're flopping, but you're still actively kind of pressing your hip away from your ribs. Walking back. And same thing on this side. And that does it.
Great job, everyone. Wipe your sweat off. I'll see you for the next video.